There's a drawer in your house right now with 4 travel gadgets in it. You bought all 4. You've used maybe one of them twice. I know this because I have that drawer too. Mine's got a neck pillow in it that cost $40 and gave me a sore neck. The travel gadget market runs on a very specific trick. It sells you a solution to a problem you only have for about 11 hours a year, and it charges you like the problem is permanent. 5 of these you should stop buying. 3 are worth the space they take. And in the middle of this video, there are 3 questions you can ask about any gadget before you spend a cent, which will save you more money than any single recommendation I could make. Let's start with the one almost everybody owns. The U-shaped memory foam neck pillow. Go and look at what it actually does. The horseshoe wraps around the back and sides of your neck, and it's thickest at the back. So it pushes your head forward into the position your neck is already stuck in, and it does almost nothing about the direction your head is actually going to fall, which is sideways. Anyone who's fallen asleep upright knows the failure. Your head goes over, it drops off the side of the pillow, you wake up, then it does it again. The pillow that's meant to stop that is the same pillow that's tilting your chin toward your chest for 6 hours. The memory foam versions run $30 to $50. The premium ones with the metal clasp and the travel case go higher, and they're enormous. A neck pillow is one of the bulkiest things you can carry, so you end up clipping it to the outside of your bag where it swings around, gets filthy, and takes up the space you'd need to fit under a seat. I'll be fair about one thing. If you can genuinely fall asleep in one, keep it. Some people can, but most people buy one, use it once, find it uncomfortable, and then keep carrying it out of a sense of obligation to the money they already spent. If your problem is sleeping upright, the honest answers are cheap and boring. A window seat so you've got something to lean against, a hoodie bunched against the wall, earplugs, and an eye mask, which cost about $8 and address the 2 things actually keeping you awake. Next one is going to annoy some people. RFID blocking wallets, passport sleeves, and backpacks. The pitch is that thieves walk through airports and train stations with concealed scanners, silently reading your cards and your passport through your bag, and a lined wallet stops it. Here's what's happened to that threat since it first got talked about. Contactless bank cards don't send a static number anymore. Every tap generates a one-time cryptogram, so even if somebody did read your card, what they'd get is a code that's already been used and won't work again. The card number and expiry aren't sitting there in the clear for anyone with an antenna. Passports are stranger still. Modern e-passports use something called basic access control. The chip won't talk to a reader until the reader has already optically scanned the printed, machine-readable strip on the photo page, meaning somebody has to physically open your passport and read it before the chip does anything. And most e-passport covers have shielding built into the material already, so the wallet is protecting against an attack that the cards and the passport have both been designed to defeat. Now, is contactless fraud real? Yes, but it happens through skimmers on card readers, through data breaches, and through people getting tricked into handing over details, not through someone brushing past your backpack. The wallets run $20 to $60, and the anti-theft backpacks with the lining go well past $150. Some of those bags are genuinely well built, and the slash-resistant panels are a real feature. Just understand that the RFID lining is the part doing the marketing, not the part doing the work. If your card gets used fraudulently, your bank refunds it. That protection is free, and it already exists. Right? Before the next 3, here's the part that matters most. 3 questions. Ask them about any travel gadget before you buy it. Question 1. Does it replace something or does it add to something? Space in your bag is the real currency, not money. A gadget that replaces 3 items has earned its place. A gadget that becomes the 9th item is a loss, even if it works perfectly. So a multi-port charger that lets you leave 3 plug bricks at home, that's a replacement. A dedicated travel steamer that sits alongside everything you were already carrying, that's an addition. Same price, opposite maths. Apply this ruthlessly, and about half the travel gadget market disappears. Question 2. Does it need a company to stay alive? If the gadget needs an app, a subscription, or a proprietary network to function, then what you've bought is a partnership with a business, and you don't control whether that business continues. This has already happened repeatedly. Luggage trackers that ran on their own private networks stopped being useful the moment there weren't enough other users to spot your bag. Smart suitcases became bricks when their manufacturers closed. Apps get discontinued, and the hardware goes dead in a drawer. A thing that works on its own will still work in 6 years. A thing that phones home is on a clock you can't see. Question 3. What's the airline rule on it? This one catches people at the gate, and the rules are more specific than most travelers know. Lithium batteries go in your carry-on, not your checked bag. Power banks and spare batteries are not allowed in the hold. That's not an airline preference. It's the standard rule across the industry. Watt hours are what matters, and it should be printed on the battery. Under 100 watt hours, you're fine. Between 100 and 160, you need the airline's approval before you fly. Above 160, it's not going on the plane at all. And anything with a battery built in that you can't remove is a risk. If the crew decides your bag has to be checked and the battery won't come out, you've got a problem at the door with a queue behind you. Check the watt-hour rating before you buy. It's a number on the box, and most people never look at it. Every video on this channel runs the same checks. No sponsorships, no affiliate links deciding the order. If that's useful, subscribe. Back to the list. Number 3, all-in-one universal adapter cubes. You know the ones. A chunky white block with plugs sliding out of 4 sides. Sold at every airport for around $40, promising to work in 150 countries. 2 problems, and the second one is the expensive one. First, the build. The all-in-one design means a lot of sliding contacts and moving parts inside a small housing, and the cheap ones do that badly. Loose pins, poor contact, and plugs that sag out of the wall socket under their own weight. Plenty of these are sold without a fuse. Reviews of the budget versions are full of the same complaints: sparking, heat, and the thing dying after a few trips. Second, and this is the one that ruins holidays, a travel adapter changes the shape of the plug. It does not change the voltage. North America runs at around 120 volts. Most of Europe, the UK, and Australia run at around 230. That's a substantial difference, and an adapter does nothing about it. Most modern electronics don't care. Look at the small print on your laptop or phone charger, and you'll almost certainly see a range printed there, something like 100 to 240 volts. Dual voltage. Plug it in anywhere, and it handles it. But heating appliances often are not dual voltage. Hair dryers, curling irons, some electric shavers. Plug a single voltage device from one region into the wrong supply, and you don't get a warning. You get a bang and a burnt smell. The fix costs almost nothing. Read the brick on each thing you're packing. If it says 100 to 240, all you need is a cheap plug-shape adapter for the specific country you're going to, and those cost about $5. If it doesn't say that, leave the device at home and use the hotels. Number 4, smart luggage with a battery built into the shell. Around 2016 and 2017, this looked like the future. Suitcases with built-in power banks to charge your phone, some with GPS, and a few that would follow you around the terminal. 2 of the big names were Bluesmart and Raiden, and they raised serious money. Then, at the end of 2017, major US airlines announced restrictions on smart bags with batteries that couldn't be taken out. If the battery was non-removable, the bag couldn't be checked. That was the whole business model gone. A suitcase that can't be checked is barely a suitcase. Both companies were finished within months. Bluesmart's assets ended up being sold off, and customers who'd paid several $100s were left holding a bag with a dead feature and no support behind it. The category still exists. Some manufacturers now build in a removable battery pack, and that version is legal because you can pull the battery out and carry it in the cabin. But look at what you're paying for. A power bank costs about $25 and weighs almost nothing. Building one into a suitcase adds cost, adds weight permanently, adds a component that can fail, and ties you to a manufacturer's support for something you could carry in your pocket. The rest of the smart features have mostly been solved better by other things, which I'll get to. Number 5 is a category rather than one product. Travel-size versions of home appliances, travel steamers, travel irons, travel hair dryers, travel kettles. The problem is in the name. Shrinking an appliance means shrinking the part that does the work. A travel steamer holds a tiny water tank and produces weak steam, so it takes 10 minutes to half fix one shirt. A travel hair dryer runs at a fraction of the wattage, so it takes 3 times as long. A travel iron doesn't have the mass to press anything properly. You're carrying a worse version of a thing and paying $30 to $60 for the privilege, and it goes in your bag for every single trip whether you use it or not. Meanwhile, most hotels have a hair dryer in the bathroom and an iron in the wardrobe. And the oldest trick in travel still works. Hang the shirt in the bathroom, run the shower hot, shut the door, come back in 15 minutes. The creases drop out. It costs nothing and takes up no space at all. If you're staying somewhere without those things, a small bottle of wrinkle release spray weighs a few grams and does most of the job. 5 gadgets. But this channel isn't here to be miserable about luggage accessories, so here's what earns its place. 3 things I'd pack every time. First, a luggage tracker. I've spent this video being rude about gadgets with batteries and gadgets that need networks, so I owe you an explanation for this one. A tracker like an AirTag works differently to the smart luggage trackers that failed. It doesn't need its own network of other tracker owners. It borrows the network that already exists in everybody's pocket, which means coverage anywhere there are people with phones. Airports have quite a lot of those. The battery is a coin cell that lasts about a year, it's user replaceable, and it's far below any airline battery threshold. Lufthansa briefly said no to them in late 2022 and reversed the decision within days after the reaction they got. They're accepted. What it actually does for you is change the conversation at the baggage desk. Instead of filing a report and waiting, you can tell them your bag is currently sitting in a specific terminal at a specific airport. Airline staff can act on that. They can't act on a shrug. Around $30, drop it in an interior pocket. It's the single highest value thing on this list. Second, a gallium nitride multi-port charger. Sounds technical, it isn't. Gallium nitride is a semiconductor material that replaced silicon in charger design. It switches faster and runs cooler, which means the charger can be much smaller for the same power output. Practically, one brick the size of a matchbox can charge a laptop, a phone, and a pair of earbuds at the same time. Go back to the first question in the middle of this video. Does it replace something? This replaces a laptop charger, a phone charger, and whatever third brick you're carrying, plus all their cables. 3 items in a tangle become 1 item and 2 short cables. $50 to $70 for a good one from a reputable brand, and I'd stick to reputable here because this is a device pushing real power into expensive equipment. Check the total wattage matches your laptop's needs, and check that it does 100 to 240 volts, which the good ones all do. Third one is the cheapest thing in this video and the one I'd argue hardest for. Packing cubes. There's nothing clever about them. They're zippered fabric rectangles. A set costs $20 to $30, and the cheap sets work about as well as the expensive ones. What they do is stop you unpacking your entire bag to find one shirt. Everything stays sorted, everything stays where you put it, and repacking on the last morning takes 2 minutes instead of 20. The compression versions have a second zipper that squeezes the air out, which does buy real space. Not the 50% some brands claim, but enough to notice. Here's the honest limit. They don't reduce weight. A cube full of clothes weighs what the clothes weigh. Anyone telling you they'll save you on baggage fees is selling you something. But for $20, something that makes every day of a 2-week trip slightly less irritating is a better purchase than any $40 gadget in the first half of this video. 8 items. 1 pattern underneath all of them. The 5 that failed were solving problems you'd only have for a few hours, or solving problems that had already been solved somewhere else, or adding weight to your bag rather than taking it away. The 3 that worked all did the same thing. They replaced something, they worked without needing a company to keep the lights on, and they cleared the airline rules without a conversation at the gate. 3 questions before you buy. Does it replace something or add to something? Does it need an app or a network to function? And what's the airline rule on the battery? Ask those 3 and you'll never buy a bad travel gadget again. Tell me in the comments what's in your gadget drawer that you've never used. I want to know if the neck pillow is as universal as I think it is. And if there's one you swear by that I've been unfair to, say so, because I'll take a look at it. If you haven't seen the Luggage Brands video, it's linked below, and it uses the same approach on suitcases, travel meter, measuring quality mile after mile.